Grace never thought life could feel easier with just a few small changes, until one ordinary morning, she stumbled upon a simple trick that made her daily routine smoother than ever. It wasn't magic, just surprisingly smart hacks that no one had told her about before. Imagine feeling more organized, calmer, and even a little happier, all without turning your world upside down. Today we'll uncover 7 surprising life hacks every senior woman must try to simplify life right now. Let's dive into the first one that transformed Grace's day instantly. 1 rule to eliminate clutter instantly. Grace's kitchen counter had become a magnet for life's little messes. Mail piled up, receipts tucked under coffee mugs, and random notes scribbled on scraps of paper. It wasn't chaos, but it was enough to make her feel mentally cluttered every time she walked past. She'd shuffle through the stack, move it to another spot, and tell herself, "I'll sort it later." But later rarely came. That's when she stumbled upon a simple trick, the one-touch rule. The idea? Handle things once. Instead of picking up the mail, glancing at it, and setting it down again, Grace decided to make a choice the moment it was in her hands. Sort, file, or toss. No more temporary piles, no more shifting clutter from one corner to another. The next time you grab the mail, open it immediately. If it's junk, toss it. If it's important, file it where it belongs. Bills? Pay them or place them in a designated to-pay spot. Apply this rule beyond paper clutter. Put dishes straight into the dishwasher. Hang up your coat instead of draping it over a chair, and return items to their place after use. Within a week, Grace noticed her spaces felt lighter, not because she did a deep clean, but because small messes never had the chance to grow. The best part? That nagging feeling of "I should really deal with that" disappeared. It was a mental decluttering as much as a physical one, giving her more peace with less effort. 2. The jar of joy. For daily positivity. There was a time when Grace felt like her days were blurring together. Wake up, do the routine, go to bed, repeat. She missed the little sparks of joy she used to notice, the simple pleasures that made life feel rich and colorful. Then she discovered an idea that seemed almost too simple to work. The jar of joy. Grace found an empty mason jar, grabbed a stack of colorful sticky notes, and made herself a promise. Every day she'd write down one thing that made her smile, a kind word from a friend, the scent of fresh rain, a delicious cup of tea, just one small moment of gratitude, folded into a slip of paper and dropped into the jar. At first it felt a bit silly, but after a few weeks, Grace noticed something magical. She became more aware of joyful moments as they happened, knowing she'd be writing them down later. Her focus shifted from life's little annoyances to its tiny treasures. Grab a jar, any jar will do, and place it somewhere you'll see every day. Keep a notepad or small scraps of paper nearby. Before bed, write down one thing that brought you joy. It doesn't have to be profound. Saw a beautiful sunset, laughed at a funny video, talked to my granddaughter. When Grace felt down, she'd reach into the jar and pull out a note. Reading her own words of joy reminded her that even hard days hold hidden gems. Over time, the jar became more than just a collection of notes. It was a visual, tangible reminder that happiness isn't found in grand events, but in life's beautiful little moments. 3. The 3-minute rule to beat procrastination. Grace used to have a habit, a sneaky little one, that made her days feel heavier than they needed to be. Procrastination. Not the big life-changing kind, but the small, everyday delays. She'd glance at the unmade bed, the dishes in the sink, or the pile of laundry waiting to be folded and think, "I'll get to it later." But later often meant tomorrow, or next week. Then she heard about the 3-minute rule, a life hack so simple, it almost felt like cheating. The rule is this: if a task takes 3 minutes or less, do it now. At first Grace was skeptical. What can I really accomplish in 3 minutes, she thought. But she gave it a try. She made her bed, not perfectly, just pulled up the covers. Took less than a minute. She wiped down the bathroom sink. 90 seconds. She responded to a quick email. 2 minutes. By the end of the day, Grace realized she'd knocked out dozens of tiny tasks without even feeling like she'd been working. The things she used to put off were done almost before she realized she'd started. Start paying attention to the small tasks you usually delay. Does it take 3 minutes or less? Do it immediately. Hanging up your coat, replying to a simple text, rinsing your coffee cup. These little things, when done right away, prevent clutter from building up both in your home and in your mind. Grace found herself feeling lighter and more in control. The mental weight of "I still need to do that" disappeared because there was nothing left lingering. Plus, she discovered a powerful truth. It's not the big things that overwhelm us. It's the small, undone tasks that quietly pile up. With the 3-minute rule, she reclaimed her time, her energy, and her peace of mind. Grace's journey started with simple changes. Nothing dramatic, no grand overhauls, just tiny shifts in daily habits that added up to something bigger. Ease, clarity, and a little more joy with every passing day. Ready to discover more life hacks that transformed Grace's world? 4. The Sunday Reset. Routine for a stress-free week. Grace used to dread Mondays. Not because of work, those days were behind her, but because Monday mornings often felt overwhelming. A messy kitchen from the weekend, unanswered emails, and a to-do list longer than she remembered leaving on Friday. It was like starting a race already out of breath. Then she discovered the Sunday Reset, a simple routine to set herself up for a smoother, calmer week. No complicated planning, no rigid schedules, just an hour every Sunday to reset her space, her mind, and her intentions. Here's how it worked. Grace would put on her favorite music, make a cup of tea, and do 3 things. Tidy up the living room and kitchen, review her calendar for the upcoming week, and jot down 3 small goals. Not big projects, just little things like call Linda, try a new soup recipe, or read 2 chapters of my book. Dedicate 30-60 minutes every Sunday to your own reset routine. Start by tidying 1 or 2 key spaces that impact your mood, maybe your kitchen, your bedroom, or your entryway. Then glance at your calendar to mentally prepare for the week ahead. Finally, set 2-3 small joyful goals to look forward to. For Grace, this routine created a sense of control and calm. Monday mornings felt less like a hurdle and more like a fresh start. It wasn't about productivity, it was about peace. Knowing the week was gently organized helped her face each day with clarity and confidence. 5. The Mindful Minute for instant calm. Grace always thought meditation was for people with endless patience and hours to spare. Sitting still, clearing her mind, and focusing on her breath for long periods. She tried once and lasted about 2 minutes before her mind wandered to grocery lists and laundry. But then she stumbled on a hack that changed everything. The Mindful Minute. Just 60 seconds. No special techniques, no perfect posture required. The rule was simple. Pause, take deep breaths, and focus on right now. Grace decided to give it a try during a stressful afternoon. She was feeling anxious for no particular reason, just the usual hum of restlessness we all experience sometimes. She set a timer for 1 minute, closed her eyes, and paid attention to her breath. In, out, in, out. She noticed the sounds around her, the feeling of her feet on the floor, the warmth of the sun through the window. When the timer beeped, she opened her eyes and felt different, not transformed, but lighter, calmer, more present. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause for 1 minute, set a timer if it helps, sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and focus on your breathing. Notice how your chest rises and falls. Feel your feet grounding you to the floor. Let your thoughts drift without judgment. Just observe. Grace found that a single mindful minute could shift her entire mood. It became her secret weapon against stress, a way to reset her mind, even in the middle of a busy day. It wasn't about eliminating anxiety. It was about giving herself permission to pause, and sometimes, that's all we really need. 6. The Reverse To-Do List. For confidence boosts, Grace loved her to-do lists. She'd scribble tasks on sticky notes, in notebooks, and even the backs of envelopes. The problem? At the end of the day, even if she'd accomplished a lot, she felt like she hadn't done enough. The unchecked boxes glared at her like little reminders of failure. One day, she stumbled upon a new idea: the reverse to-do list. Instead of writing down what she needed to do, she wrote down what she'd already done. It sounded silly, but she gave it a shot. By the time she finished, the list was surprisingly long, and instead of feeling like she was chasing tasks, she felt proud of what she'd accomplished. At the end of each day, grab a notebook and jot down everything you did, big or small. Include simple things like cooked breakfast, read for 20 minutes, or sent a birthday card. You'll be amazed at how much you actually do, without giving yourself credit. This practice shifted Grace's focus from what she hadn't done to what she had. It boosted her confidence and helped her feel accomplished. Even on quieter days, it reminded her that progress isn't always about productivity, it's about presence, and every little thing counts. 7. The connection calendar for stronger relationships. Grace had a lot of friends and family she loved dearly, but life had a sneaky way of making weeks slip by without a single phone call or catch-up. It wasn't that she didn't care, it was just easy to lose track of time. She'd often think, "I should call Linda soon," but before she knew it, a whole month had passed. That's when she stumbled upon the connection calendar, a simple life hack that completely changed the way she nurtured her relationships. Here's how it worked. Grace grabbed a small calendar, the kind you might hang on the fridge, and labeled each week with the names of people she wanted to connect with. It wasn't about grand gestures. Sometimes it was just a quick text, a heartfelt letter, or a 10-minute phone call. But having it written down reminded her to act instead of just thinking about it. Start with a simple calendar, whether on paper or your phone. At the start of each month, jot down the names of people you'd like to reach out to. It could be family, friends, or even neighbors you've been meaning to catch up with. Aim for one connection per week. It's manageable and meaningful. Grace found that her relationships grew stronger with just a little intentional effort. She felt more connected, less lonely, and filled with a sense of warmth, knowing she'd nurtured the bonds that mattered most. The connection calendar wasn't about adding another chore, it was about adding joy, one meaningful moment at a time. Who knew life could feel this good with just a few tiny tweaks? Grace did it, and so can you. Ready to simplify, smile more, and stress less? Pick one hack and start today. Oh, and don't be shy. Drop your favorite life hack in the comments. Let's swap wisdom.